I don't have anything planned just yet, but I'm still working on that.
First of all, Baker Mayfield. I think he's my MVP at this moment.
My new fantasy football quarterback, if I could brag a little bit.
We're super confident, and we feel like we can really do something.
If you love points, this is the matchup for you.
I'm going to take the Colts because I like Daniel Jones a lot.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Ain't That Upal, coming to you from just north of London, where we have a game this weekend between the Jags and the Rams at Wembley Stadium. I'm Sunni Upal. I'll be telling you a bit more about that game. Don't worry, David and Ryan are still here. They're over in New York and they'll tell you about some of the big games happening in the US this weekend, including that Monday night showdown between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Detroit Lions. But this is the fourth Sunday in a row now we've had an NFL game in Europe. If we cast our mind back to week 4, the Vikings were beaten by the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. We've then had 2 games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in back-to-back weeks. Vikings beating the Browns in week 5 before the Broncos beat the Jets last week. And now we are hopping across town to the home of the English national football team, Wembley Stadium, for this game. So let's break this game down more specifically then, starting with the Jags. I'm currently at the Grove, which is where they're staying and practicing this week, and I spoke to a special guest. Well, my pleasure to be joined by Brian Thomas Jr., second-year wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jags, named to the Pro Bowl in his rookie year. Brian, how are you? This is your second time over now in a year. You're becoming a regular around here.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. This team, Brian, 4-2. You guys had a statement win against the Chiefs, obviously, on Monday Night Football. This feels like one of the best Jag teams we've had over. How does it feel like being in the locker room?
It feels super good. We're all super confident, and we all just go out there each and every day at practice. Push each other to be the best that we can be day in and day out, and I feel like we're super confident and we feel like we can really do something.
What's different about this team for people who kind of watched the London game last year? What's different this year under new head coach Liam Cohen?
Really just the energy around the building, all the energy that he brings, the little edge that he brings to the game and to us. We all feed off that, and we all go out there and play with an edge, and I feel like it's been helping us out and it's been better for us.
How are you finding the step up from rookie to second year? Enjoying it?
Yes, sir. It's been a lot of learning. It's been a learning process. Still learning from my rookie year, learning from things I've been doing this year. But I say it's been a great learning process, and I'm just ready to continue it and see how it goes.
Talking of energy and rookies, you play a lot with Travis Hunter on offense. What's it like? It seems like a really fun team and locker room to be a part of.
Yeah, it's super fun. Just being able to be around all the guys and being able to be around all my teammates. I call them my brothers, so yeah, just super fun. Just be able to be around them all the time. They bring the energy, and yeah, we just have a great time all the time.
Got anything special lined up in terms of celebrations for the London fans maybe at the weekend?
Nah, I'm still working on that right now. I don't have anything planned just yet, but I'm still working on that.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was Brian Thomas Jr., who's hoping to put on a show for the fans at Wembley on Sunday. What about the opposition, the Los Angeles Rams? Well, they're also 4-2, and like the Jags, they're in a tough division as well. The 49ers still seem to find ways to win despite all their injury problems. The Seahawks look really good with Sam Darnold. I mean, Jackson Smith-Njigba is emerging as probably one of the best wide receivers in the business. The Rams have 2 good ones as well. Hopefully we get to see Puka Nacua at the weekend. His injury status is up in the air. Devontae Adams is going to be out there, but really without Puka Nacua, this is going to be a very tough game for the Rams against the Jags defense, which is going well. Matthew Stafford under centre is having a very good year again. He doesn't always get the praise he deserves. I think one man who doesn't get enough praise is Sean McVay, the coach. He's been here twice before with the Rams and won on both occasions. The way he carries himself, the energy that you see on the sideline and in his interviews, he is exactly like that up close as well. And if the Rams are going to win, I'd say that maybe going to have to lean a little more on their running game with Kyren Williams. Maybe a bit more action for Blake Corum as well in the backfield. That's if Puka Nacua is not ready to go. But one thing I find quite staggering really is the Rams haven't made it to London yet. They played the Ravens last week and they've stayed behind in Baltimore to practice. They've actually transformed the home of the Orioles, the ballpark, into an NFL field and based themselves there this week. So they don't get over till quite late. And I think that's going to be quite an advantage for Jacksonville. So I'd take the Jags to win this one, maybe by 4 points on Sunday. And that will wrap up our London series for 2025. We still have 2 games to come in Europe. We have a 2-week break now coming up before we then go to Berlin, Germany, where the Falcons play the Colts on November the 9th. And then on November 16, the Commanders play the Dolphins at the home of Real Madrid, the first ever NFL regular season game in Spain. But that's all from me. David and Ryan, what have you got for us?
Thank you, Sunny. That's going to do it for London action this year, but there's still plenty of great NFL action in the States this week and throughout the year. We're going to start, though, with the Buccaneers versus Detroit Lions game this week. 2 high-powered offenses, 2 of you could say the best teams in the NFL this year. What do you think about this matchup?
First of all, Baker Mayfield, I think he's my MVP at this moment. He's been balling out, and without his top receivers, Chris Godwin he hasn't had this year, Mike Evans has been out last couple weeks, and now Bucca is going to be out. Baker Mayfield's just been amazing, just getting out of the pocket when he has to, just finding receivers. I just love the way he throws the football, and I think he's just been carrying the team on his back. And I think that's why they're 5-1. I think you put an average quarterback or a below average, they're sitting with 2 wins, 3 wins probably. But with Baker, they're 5 wins right now.
Yeah, it's that grit that he always came with in the league. Baker Mayfield, my new fantasy football quarterback, if I could brag a little bit. But I love everything about him. He's been one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league ever since he came in. Cleveland did him dirty. We've talked about this in the past. But the thing is, yeah, he's just a tough guy. He puts the team on his back whenever he needs to. It doesn't matter who's out there. Doesn't matter how healthy he is. He's always prepared to be a gamer. And that's what the Buccaneers love so much about him. That's what the league loves so much about him. I truly believe, like you said, that he is an MVP candidate, and it's because of what he's done so far this year. His only loss is a real close one to the Eagles that they definitely could have won. So listen, keep it up, Baker. And against the Lions defense that has proven to be a little bit shaky, he could explode this week.
Yeah, and he might actually be getting Mike Evans back. He's now at practice. We'll see how his status is the next couple days. But if he has Evans back, that's looking really good for Baker. And he, like I said, he's had the backups at wide receiver. It's just been very tough for him to find ways to get things going, and he's done it. Kate Otten has to step up this week. Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard has been a contributor too. So guys that are usually, they would be backups for other teams. They're in the starting role. They have to get things done against the Lions team. It won't be easy though at home in Detroit.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are flying high. Lions is taking a bit of a step back after a tough loss to the Chiefs last week. Chiefs put up 30 on them, and the Lions can only manage 17 points. It's really just a confusing effort out there from the Lions. It's not what we're expecting from them. What do you take from that game coming into this week?
I think they were blindsided by the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were coming into that game with a loss. Detroit was red hot. So they didn't do much in that second half against Kansas City and company. But this game, I think this is going to be a get-right game. That offense, I still think, is one of the best, if not the best in the league, with Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, the list goes on, St. Brown, Gibbs, the running backs. So Detroit, they struggled. I think the pass protection really faltered in that Chiefs game in the second half, putting pressure on Goff. But when Goff has that clean pocket, and that's what I think is going to happen in this Tampa Bay game, I think they're going to find a way to get things done. It's going to be a shootout, I think, in this game. But Goff, I expect them to get back into the swing of things and get things done against Tampa in that defense.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a next man up kind of game here for the Lions. Their offense is still healthy, but the defense, a lot of guys down. The secondary's beat up. The pass rush is getting some guys back, but it's still not a fully healthy unit. They're going to need to find just some ability to get some pressure on Baker, make sure those playmakers are getting shut down in the secondary in order to have a chance in this game.
And Detroit's offense, they love the explosive plays, and Tampa Bay, I think, is prone to give up a lot of big-time plays. I think 20 passing plays, they've given up 20 yards or more. So Detroit, I love in this game. I think it's still going to be a close game, but I just think with I think the injuries are worse for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just with that wide receiver group, than it is for Detroit's defense. I think still with those injuries before the Chiefs game, they were getting things done. I expect them to get right in this game.
Okay, so going into our next matchup, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Colts coming out of nowhere, huge 4-1 record, and then the Chargers just kind of dialing it back a little bit. We're not quite sure where they are. Daniel Jones, huge surprise this year. What do you see from him in this game?
Well, first of all, he's not getting sacked. I mean, we saw back in the days with the Giants, just the offensive lines played a huge part in him getting sacked. I feel like we're not seeing Jones get sacked at all. The interceptions are also not there with him. I think the one loss that they had, it was 1 touchdown, 2 picks against the Rams. But everything else, every other game has just been amazing for Jones. So they're just positive plays, with that offense. And other than Tyler Warren, He's making things done, getting things done with wide receivers like Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. So not really like top receivers, and he's still finding ways to get things done. And Jonathan Taylor, we'll talk about him. He's just been balling out. I think he's my offensive player of the year as of right now.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is just a different beast. I feel like every year you go into the season and no one's talking about Jonathan Taylor. He's always just in the background. You're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and no one ever talks about Jonathan Taylor. And then he immediately reminds you that he's probably one of, if not the best running back in the league. And he's a great compliment to Daniel Jones, who people forget about his rushing ability too. Yeah, he's been a great passer this year, which is great to see, but he's running the football all over the place. Jonathan Taylor's doing the same thing. They're just destroying teams on the ground.
I don't think anyone can question his abilities, Taylor, entering the season. I think it was two things. One, the injuries played a huge role. I feel like he wasn't playing full seasons, and then it was the quarterback position as well. He didn't have good quarterbacks that could help him. So defense was just circling in on Taylor every single game. Now you got to worry about Daniel Jones running with the football, completing passes, and Taylor, you can't just stack the box because you have to worry about Daniel Jones as well. So I think Taylor is finally with a good quarterback, and we're seeing great things out of him. And like I said, I think he's my offensive player of the year right now if the season ended today.
Well, going over to the Chargers side of this matchup, they're faltering a little bit. They get the win against the Miami Dolphins, but it was way closer than it should have been. They're just not quite there yet. I don't think things have entirely clicked. Sure, they don't have Omari and Hampton. They've had some injuries, but I think you would expect to see more in year 2 of Jim Harbaugh. What are you seeing out of this team that's maybe giving you confidence, or what are you seeing that's maybe, leaving you hesitant?
So the confidence, they barely beat the Miami Dolphins, but there were certain things I did like on that offense. First of all, Ladd McConkey finally showed up and gave you production, especially with that play at the end of the game to set up that win. Then the weaknesses, I think they're really not good against the run. I think they're doing a poor job in that department. Teams that are facing the Chargers know this too. And with Taylor, this is not a good matchup for the Chargers in terms of that. They're still pretty good pass defense, but rush against the run, I don't really like the Chargers. So we're gonna if you have Jonathan Taylor in this game in fantasy, you just have to love this matchup.
You got to be licking your chops because the Chargers defense, I think, started off the season fairly strong, and they've just taken step back after step back. I think Justin Herbert's taken a few steps back too. He hasn't been quite himself in these last few games. Bit of a turnover problem. He's not completing passes. Just things don't look right downfield. He's got his weapons. Sure, you've got Kamani Vidal and whoever in the backfield, but you've still got Keenan Allen, you've still got Quentin Johnson, you've still got Ladd McConkey. There should be production in the passing game, and we're just not quite seeing it.
I think the injuries play a huge role in that offense, starting with the offensive line. Joe Alt is out, Slater is out, so Herbert has to avoid pressure a lot, and we saw it at the end of the game. He had to avoid 2 sacks enabled for them to win that game. So the offensive line has played a huge role. That Giants loss that no one saw coming, that pass rush they handled that Chargers offensive line. So I think the offensive line has played a huge role in their downside for that offense. So it's going to be tough against Indianapolis with DeForest Buckner. But I think the Chargers find a way to get this game. I think, first of all, I think it's a pick-'em in terms of this game. At Los Angeles, it's really not a home advantage.
It's definitely going to be a tight one. I'm going to take the Colts because I like Daniel Jones a lot. But
I don't blame you.
Let's flip over to our last matchup here. Dallas Cowboys versus Washington Commanders. Nice divisional matchup here. Cowboys offense flying high. Cowboys defense pretty terrible so far. What is that going to look like against the Commanders?
Oh, if you love points, this is the matchup for you. I mean, the Cowboys defense is god-awful against that Carolina Panthers offense that you can't write home about. It's not that great. Yes, they have Rico Dowdle, but other than that, it's really not flashy. The Cowboys defense is just terrible. Commanders, they lost that game. It was not great for them. But Jaden Daniels, you just have to love that matchup against that Cowboys defense. Both teams coming off losses. Jaden Daniels, I expect a same type of game. Even though they lost against the Bears, it really wasn't on him. I think the defense played a role in that loss. So if you love points, this is for you, and we might be getting star wideouts in this game.
Yes, CeeDee Lamb might be coming back. Terry McLaurin is still so-so on his injury, but there should be a lot of firepower in this game. The Cowboys are up there nearly 30 points per game despite a 2-3-1 record. The balls are going to be flying deep. It's just going to be just deep ball after deep ball, huge hitters after huge hitters. There is no good defense that's going to be played in this game. I really don't respect the Commanders' defense at all. I saw your face. I don't respect the Commanders' defense at all.
Oh, I don't blame you, by the way.
I think their secondary is so bad. The Cowboys' passing game has been so good, and if they have CeeDee back for this game alongside George Pickens, who's been a huge breakout this year, you could see 40 being put up in this game.
I have Baker Mayfield as my MVP as of right now, but Dak Prescott is not too far behind. He's just been amazing, even without CeeDee Lamb. Dak has just been finding ways to get things done, connecting to his receivers. Jake Ferguson, he loves to throw too. Dallas, I love their offense. Javonte Williams has been good for them. So like we said, it's going to be a shootout. Prescott, I've just been amazed. I had him as my comeback player of the year entering this year, and I think that's looking good. And if they don't have CeeDee Lamb, I think they're going to lose. Even with him, I still think they're going to lose.
Yeah, let's look a little bit more at Jaden Daniels. He had the knee injury. He seems to be coming back from that. But talk about, putting the team on your back, doing everything. When he's one of those kinds of players that can do that with the running game, the passing game, just a great IQ. I'm going to counter you on this, and I like the Cowboys in this game just because of the sheer offense that they can put up. I didn't really like what I saw from the Commanders against the Bears last week. And now I think the Bears are definitely an up-and-coming team, and you could say, they're the Bears, so maybe not, because they're always going to do something that disappoints you. But I'm not quite convinced with the Commanders yet. I think their running game really needs to take a step up. We've seen Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, kind of fill into that number one role, but then he takes a step back last week, so we don't really know what's going on there yet. The pass catchers are not totally convincing me yet. So I want to see more from this Commanders offense, and I think this is the kind of game where you can do it. This is certainly what you would say is a get-right game against a defense that's so bad as the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys do have the ability to just overshoot them here.
I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Jaden Daniels has to put the team on his back. McLaurin might play, and if he doesn't, I still think he's gotten things done even without McLaurin. Zach Ertz, he has to get him involved, and the running backs. I still think the running backs are just going to figure out a way to win against that defense. Merritt, I think he's been a little bit better the last couple weeks, so I think it's going to be very close. I don't blame you for taking the Cowboys because, first of all, each team needs this win so badly. I mean, imagine Dallas, they're 2-4-1. That's going to be very terrible for them. And Washington, if they're under 500 after this game, is going to look bad for them too. So this is such a big game for both teams. But I just love Jaden Daniels. We've seen what he can do last year. And even without the top playmaker, he just runs with the football when he can. And they just move the chains. I just love the play calling with Cliff Kingsbury and company. So I think it's going to be very close. But against that Dallas Cowboys defense, we saw Carolina do it. Why not Washington?
Well, it's certainly going to be a good game, and there's a lot more action coming up this weekend. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Ain't That Our Ball. You can catch us every Thursday, and every Monday you can watch our tactics show, X's and O's. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments who you think is going to win in Week 7.